welcome to your interview for the 2024 CGA Rising Stars. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
Yeah,
really good fun.
yeah, it's been good fun. Hey, I was looking back this morning at your original tape that you sent, because we obviously went through a process on Boys Swallows Universe, and I was looking at your original tape that you sent us, that you filmed outside, and you were chatting about yourself, and then you did a scene. And I was just wondering, because this is how I met you, when Eli Bell came across, came to you, what did you think about that character?
It was so. This one was a weird one because originally I had a look at the character and I thought Eli was an interesting character, and I love to sort of go for interesting sort of intellectual, I guess, roles, not just some random one here or there. And then I found the script like really, really hard to sort of memorize and get through. And I got to a point where I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. And so we originally actually said no. And I have to thank you, Nikki, because you guys came back and you said, "Are you sure about that?" And then it kind of just everything. It was like almost meant to be. Everything came into my head. I sort of had an idea of how I wanted to play it, and I was working with Mum on that. And then I guess we kind of just progressed from there.
And tell me something, because obviously your life experience is really different to Eli's in some ways. So and I'm just using this as an example, this role, just to talk about your process as an actor, as a performer. What did you find in him to connect to?
For me, it was kind of always the love and the hope that Eli has. I think that's how I always tried to connect with him, and that's what Nadia, me, and my mum always worked on. And that was we had got to have 2 weeks of rehearsals before the show where we really focused on that, and then even going through the casting, that was also what I was kind of thinking of, trying to tap into that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my anchor towards Eli. It was that love, that hope that he has. And then, his love of his family, and that kind of just kind of anchored it and brought it all home.
That's interesting, because that's what Barrett Mallory, the director, from the first time I met him, always talked about what was really important to capture in the story was this idea of love and hope. And so it's interesting that that's exactly what you connected to as well. So tell me, before that, because that's obviously been a big turning point in your acting career, tell us about FELIX Cameron as an actor before that.
As an actor before?
Or a performer?
Yeah, I don't know. It hadn't seriously taken me. I think getting that, it kind of brought me a little, I guess I started to love acting when I got into Boys Swallows. But before that, I was just, I'd done a few things, but I was more just a footy cricket player. Loves having fun with his mates. Just hanging around locally, just playing with my friends, and then that kind of, I guess, brought me into acting a bit more. Boys Swallows, because Penguin Bloom was great, but again, I wasn't there as much. I reckon I would have only been filming about 1 day a week.
Right.
Whereas Boys Swallows, it was, I was doing so much, and then, I really valued the relationship with the crew and then the cast, and that kind of got me hooked a little bit more. So
Right.
Before, as an actor, I don't think I was as in deep. I think I would have thought of myself a lot more as just a normal sort of kid who loves to play cricket and footy.
As a cricketer, I remember your cricket session.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me, when you did that work, like with Nadia and your dramaturg, and were there ever times where, as an actor, you kind of surprised yourself, where something happened inside you that kind of surprised you?
Yeah, I think one of them during rehearsals when I was working with her, um, I was always worrying about the big emotional scenes, and we had the scene with Lyle on the footy field that we were working on, and then I'd been working with Travis on it, and instead of we had this little thing that we do where he'd be trying to walk past me, and I'd have to try and stop him from coming past me. This actually brings so many memories. And was trying to find excuses, and at the start I was just trying to almost make jokes and stuff like that. But as I got into what the idea of Eli was as a person, I started to really kind of put it deep on him, and try and really make him think about what he was doing. And then we had a big moment with me and Nadia where I was kind of on the ground, and then Nadia was like sort of pushing me down, and it was that scene where I'd get back up, and she's like, "How dare you, stupid little brat?" And I was, I'm like, I can't, and then suddenly just everything came out of me in that one scene, and I kind of learnt that I just had to kind of let it all come out, all the emotions that I was feeling. And obviously she said to me that, you never want to make it, when you're doing these things, you don't want to harm yourself. So you always want to make it about, I guess, more of a feeling of, either love or something else, but you don't want to pin it on something that's happened to you, because that could do some real sort of damage. So we were working on how to do it safely. And then, when I did that, I was like, oh, I can do this. I've just got to just let it all come out.
Wow.
So that was a big turning point, yeah.
Pretty amazing experience, huh? Yeah, well, we were talking before about that thing that you played a character that is very beloved and very known because of the book and then because of the series, and that people sometimes feel a kind of like they know you, like there's an intimacy with you that doesn't really exist, and that they kind of come in, and that there's something very beautiful about because they loved your work. But how does that feel for you? You were talking about airports earlier.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing because I sometimes forget, like I've even been in a show.
Mm-hmm.
I just sort of brush it off and just keep going forward, sort of. But I like to reflect on it a little bit. But it's definitely really weird because even, when I watch an actor, you sometimes feel like you know them. But it's really weird. I know it's beautiful because, you've impacted them in some way. But then it's hard in another way because it's hard to explain sort of what it feels like. But it's just, yeah.
Yeah, but you've just...
It's definitely something very powerful that you've sort of impacted them in a way that, they want to approach you and say hi. And yeah, it's definitely weird though, because I sometimes just forget that I was even Eli, because I just keep on sort of moving forward, and then it comes
when you're
back.
living your life.
So it's very funny that how that happens. Yeah, it's definitely something weird that I've got used to now, but probably wasn't expecting when it happened.
Well, look, thank you so much for doing this, and thank you for doing this when you're not feeling well too. And it was really lovely to see you, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much for the amazing journey that we went on as well, Nikki. That was amazing.